From the very beginning, Aida confronts viewers with an unflinching portrayal of the tension between self-identity and societal expectation. The film's protagonist embodies the quiet struggle of individuals who exist on the margins, negotiating the boundaries of acceptance and visibility in a world that often refuses to accommodate difference. The first scenes establish the tone with a blend of realism and psychological depth. The opening frame captures Aida standing in a crowded train station, surrounded by the blur of passers-by, yet the camera lingers on her face in a close-up, revealing micro-expressions of anxiety, hesitation, and determination. This visual approach sets the stage for a narrative that prioritizes interiority over spectacle, exploring how external environments interact with personal identity. As the story unfolds, the film delves into Aida's daily life, highlighting the subtle negotiations she undertakes to maintain a sense of agency. The mundane is transformed into narrative gold. A trip to the market, a walk in the park, a conversation over coffee. All these ordinary moments become arenas where societal judgments manifest and Aida's resilience is tested. One of the most memorable sequences occurs during a workplace scene where Aida must navigate colleagues' casual homophobia and latent prejudices. The director employs a static camera to capture the micro-tensions between characters, with spatial composition emphasizing Aida's isolation within the larger environment. The dialogue is sparse but charged, each line weighted with implications that extend beyond what is spoken. The film's handling of secondary characters is equally compelling, providing nuanced portrayals of allies and antagonists alike. Aida's friend circle, for example, embodies a spectrum of attitudes, from genuine support to ambivalent complicity, reflecting the complexity of real social networks. This attention to relational dynamics adds layers of authenticity, making Aida's journey resonate on both emotional and intellectual levels. A particularly striking scene involves Aida attending a family gathering, where subtle acts of microaggression reveal the deep-seated biases of those she loves. The cinematography employs shallow focus to isolate Aida from her surroundings, visually reinforcing her sense of alienation while allowing the audience to perceive the unspoken currents that define the social space. The film also excels in exploring the performative aspects of identity, illustrating how individuals adapt and mask their authentic selves in response to external pressures. This theme is explored through Aida's wardrobe, gestures, and speech patterns, which shift depending on context, highlighting the invisible labor of conformity demanded by society. Symbolism is woven throughout the narrative, often in understated ways. For example, recurring motifs of doors and thresholds represent the liminality of Aida's existence, caught between public expectation and private desire. Light and shadow are similarly employed to underscore emotional states, with muted palettes conveying introspection and brighter tones marking moments of revelation or courage. In addition to these visual elements, the film's soundscape reinforces its thematic concerns. Ambient city noise, subdued musical scores, and the careful layering of diegetic sounds contribute to a heightened sense of realism while subtly underscoring Aida's emotional journey. Scenes of confrontation are particularly effective, utilizing silence and pacing to heighten tension. Aida's exchanges with antagonistic figures avoid sensationalism, instead relying on careful timing and expressive subtlety to communicate stakes and emotional impact. From a thematic perspective, Aida explores the intersectionality of oppression and identity, highlighting how sexual orientation interacts with familial, cultural, and social dynamics. The film refuses to offer simple moral binaries, instead presenting characters whose intentions and biases are shaped by experience, fear, and social conditioning. This complexity invites the audience to reflect critically on their own assumptions and behaviors. Comparisons to other films in the genre reveal Aida's distinctive approach. While some films rely on overt dramatization to convey marginalization, Aida achieves emotional resonance through restraint, encouraging viewers to invest in the subtleties of human behavior and emotional nuance. Personal reflection enhances the impact of the film. Watching Aida evokes memories of encounters where authenticity collided with expectation, moments of courage that went unnoticed, and the quiet dignity required to assert one's identity in unwelcoming spaces. One particularly moving sequence involves Aida writing letters to herself, a private ritual that allows her to articulate feelings and desires suppressed in public. This act of introspection is portrayed with a tender sensitivity that underscores the importance of self-recognition and affirmation. The film's climax is measured and emotionally coherent, emphasizing the protagonist's growth without resorting to cathartic spectacle. In these final sequences, Aida navigates public exposure with poise, negotiating visibility on her terms. The narrative resolution is not about triumph over adversity in the traditional sense, but about the reclamation of agency and the affirmation of personal identity. Through its meticulous direction, nuanced performances, and profound thematic exploration, Aida emerges as a film of subtle power. Its treatment of identity, marginalization, and personal agency encourages audiences to engage empathetically and reflectively, providing a cinematic experience that lingers long after the final frame.